Like and subscribe right now, or this spider is gonna crawl on your face while you're sleeping. 10 most freaky and haunted places on Earth. With the crisp fall air come the perfect conditions for visiting the scariest, spookiest, and best haunted places in the world. While some haunted houses can seem a little hokey, filled with actors dressed as ghouls, goblins, mad scientists, and Frankenstein monsters, there are several spots around the globe with real reputations for being truly haunted. Some of these places are shrouded in mystery, with legends passed down for centuries. Others are much newer, but steeped in their tragic pasts. Whether these places are from the 12th or 20th century, each has an interesting history, with plenty of sightings and creepy experiences. If you don't have a ghostly encounter at one of these destinations, at least you'll get a fascinating history lesson out of your trip. And ghost hunters everywhere are always trying to catch a glimpse of a ghost, wandering a haunted hallway, hear mysterious voices in an empty room, or even feel a chill as they're investigating a dark corridor. Luckily enough, there are a lot more reportedly haunted places that are open for public tours or even overnight stays than you might imagine. Despite some of the places on this list not exactly being haunted, they're still spooky enough that you'll probably be thinking twice before you ever decide to see one of these places in person. Number 10. Ganjiam Psychiatric Hospital. The story of this abandoned psychiatric hospital reads like a textbook plot of a horror film. According to local legend, patients started dying mysteriously at the hospital some 30 years ago, eventually forcing its closure. It is now an abandoned, dirty building with only the most disturbing remnants of its former life, such as rusted wire fences and disintegrating examination chairs. The hospital is framed as one of South Korea's 3 major haunted sites, the other being the Yongdeok Haunted House, roamed by ghosts of the Korean War, and the Neobam Garden, a former restaurant where it's said that you can still hear the sounds of dishes being washed in the kitchen. The place is considered one of the most haunted places for a good reason. All manner of paranormal activity is said to take place there. It would not be considered unusual for someone to run screaming from the building, frantically scrabbling for a window, feeling pain on any part of unclothed skin, scratches by the dozen, beads of blood oozing from the wound. Before we move on, I've got a challenge for you that will only take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. Leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And boom, 25 years of amazing luck. Try it! It really works. Number 9. Zedlock Ossuary. The Zedlock Ossuary is a small Roman Catholic chapel in Zedlock, Czech Republic. It also contains the skeletal remains of about 40,000 human beings dispersed throughout the interior in an artistically arranged design. The most notable creations made of these human bones are the chandelier in the center of the room and the coat of arms of the Schwarzenbergs, the most blue-blooded of Bohemian aristocrats, on the left. It's difficult to not let your imagination run wild when pondering the sort of sick mind that must have conceived such things like the chandelier of human bones. But the real motive behind it all is quite prosaic. It was simply a matter of saving space. These bones were freely given from the bodies of devout Roman Catholics all over Europe who clamored to be buried here after the abbot of Zedlock went on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem in 1278 and brought back soil from Golgotha, where Jesus had supposedly been crucified. So many people wanted to be buried in Golgotha's soil that the chapel was turned into an ossuary. The remains of the previously buried were dug up and rearranged in the 16th century, a practical, if somewhat disquieting way, to use the limited burial space in a thrifty way. Number 8. Akotesewa Fetish Market. As the largest fetish market in the world, Akotesewa Fetish Market in Lome, Togo is a haven for voodoo practitioners. By fetish, we're referring to talismans that are used in voodoo healing, things like crocodile heads, chimpanzee hands, cobras, and bones. Lots of bones. These things, or parts of things, are sold as ingredients to be ground up, mixed with herbs, and cooked over a fire. The resulting black powder is rubbed into a cut on the patient's chest, hopefully curing him of whatever brought him there in the first place. This makes the market, in effect, one giant pharmacy. And while there's nothing bad about that, it may be difficult to keep your cool amidst tables piled with the desiccating, grinding heads of cheetahs and hyenas, or undefinable, vaguely humanoid skulls laid out like melons at the local grocers. Moreover, it is also allegedly the favorite market for black magic practitioners who visit the place regularly to buy ingredients for their next magic trick. Number 7. La Isla de las Munecas. This otherwise uninhabited island is located 29 kilometers away from Mexico City, Mexico, on Anteshuelo Lake, near the canals of Xochimilco. La Isla de las Munecas, or the Island of the Dolls, is the stunningly morbid creation of a man named Don Julian Santana, who lived as a hermit on the island for some 50-odd years until his death in 2001. During his time there, he amassed an impressively ghastly collection of dismembered, broken dolls and hung them on tree branches around the island, where they hang to this day, almost like sacrifices. It looks cruel and disturbing, but the backstory is surprisingly sweet. Although there are several variations of the legend, they converge all upon the idea that Don Julian dedicated the dolls to the spirit of a little girl who had drowned in the canal. Whether he communicated with the spirit or whether the drowned girl had actually existed are all points of contention. But Don Julian just wanted to give his ghostly little friend some toys to play with. Number 6. Battleship Island. Hashima Island, also known as Gunkenjima, meaning Battleship Island, as the island resembles a warship, is a 60,000 square meter cluster of concrete ruins in the sea by Nagasaki, Japan. In the 1950s, it was the bustling home of thousands of coal mine workers. Hashima Island has been abandoned since 1974, when the coal mines shut down. But there's always something a bit sinister about deserted islands. Isolation is a double-edged sword. Being surrounded by sea might mean an excellent vacation getaway, or getting stranded with no place to run. A visit to Hashima Island feels like the latter. The dilapidated buildings and abandoned belongings of the former coal miners make this place feel like the most desolate island on Earth. Although Hashima was entirely closed off until 2009, travelers are now allowed to visit it. The island also served as the secret headquarters of a Bond villain, Raul Silva, in the 2012 movie Skyfall. Number 5. The Winchester House. The infamous Winchester House is located in San Jose, California, and was built by Sarah Winchester. Legend has it, Sarah believed her husband and infant daughter died prematurely as payback from the angry spirits who were killed by the Winchester rifle. Sarah spent over 38 years trying to escape and confuse the vengeful ghosts by building staircases to nowhere, sealed-off rooms, and secret passageways. The Winchester Mystery House spans over 24,000 square feet with 160 rooms, 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 47 stairways, 47 fireplaces, 13 bathrooms, and 6 kitchens. Sarah issued many bizarre demands to her builders, including the building of trapdoors, secret passages, a skylight in the floor, spiderweb windows, and staircases that led to nowhere. There are also doors that open to blank walls, and a dangerous door on the second floor that opens out into nothing. Well, except for an alarming drop into the yard below. Some say that the labyrinth layout was meant to confuse ghosts, allowing Sarah some peace and a means to escape them. She was the sole architect of this extraordinary home, and no master building plan has ever been uncovered. So Sarah may be the only person who ever truly knew all of its secrets. When movers were called in after her death, one lamented over its labyrinth design and the fact that it included so many winding hallways. Another mover said that the Winchester House was a place where downstairs leads neither to the cellar nor upstairs to the roof. Visitors claim to see doorknobs turn themselves and hear footsteps in Sarah's bedroom, and have temporarily lost their vision and become overcome with icy chills. Are you brave enough to visit this place? Number 4. The French Catacombs. Fancy descending under the streets of Paris and wandering through the catacombs, an eerie network of old caves and tunnels lined with the bones of the dead? Now you can, at one of Paris's creepiest attractions, home to the bones of roughly 6 million people and deeper underground than the metro and the sewer systems. The catacombs were created to accommodate overflowing 18th century cemeteries. Don't veer off the tourist trail, though. In the summer of 2017, 2 teenagers were lost in the cavernous network for 3 days. A short section of the caverns is open to the public on weekends, but only for certain hours and only under supervision. Number 3. Pivegla Island. This beautiful isle is haunted by its eerie past. It was once a quarantine zone for plague sufferers in the late 1700s. Later, in the 1920s, it became an asylum for the mentally unwell. Allegedly, the island is haunted by the spirits of the patients from the psychiatric hospital. Legend says a sadistic doctor, plagued by visions of the patients he had tortured, threw himself off the bell tower. The building remains an abandoned, rusty structure. It's spine-chilling. In 2014, it nearly became a luxury hotel, but the deal fell through, and it remains a macabre reminder of its terrible past. It's not supposed to be visited by anyone, let alone tourists, but you might be able to persuade a boat operator in Venice to take you there. After all, who can refuse a good payout for a cheeky ride to a forbidden island? Number 2. The Gateway to Hell. Yes, there really is a crater deep in the Turkmenistan desert that's been burning an inferno for the past 40 years. Officially called the Darvaza crater, this incredible site is also nicknamed the Gateway or Doorway to Hell. There's no concrete record of what exactly happened, making the fiery cavern even more intriguing. The Gates of Hell was created in 1971 when a Soviet drilling rig accidentally punched into a massive underground natural gas cavern, causing the ground to collapse and the entire drilling rig to fall into it. Having punctured a pocket of gas, poisonous fumes began to leak at an alarming rate. To head off a potential environmental catastrophe, the Soviets set the hole alight, figuring it would stop burning within a few weeks. Decades later, and the fiery pit is still going strong. The Soviet drilling rig is believed to still be down there somewhere, on the other side of the Gates of Hell. Amazingly, despite the crater's foreboding name and ever-present flames, people still trek into the desert to witness this site in all of its blazing glory. The country's government hopes it'll become a tourist site, and the nearby desert already has become a popular place to camp. Number 1. Bell Witch Cave. The spirit of Southern Gothic can be embraced with a spine-tingling visit to the Bell Witch Cave, the supposed one-time home of an evil witch who plagued the Bell family of Tennessee during the 1800s. This malevolent spirit allegedly poisoned and killed Patriarch John Bell, wreaking havoc on his family, particularly his daughter Betsy. It is said that the witch was vengeful neighbor Kate Batts. The story is a local legend in Tennessee, and it's been immortalized in novels and on screen. Rumor has it that President Andrew Jackson even visited the property, only to be scared away. I had rather face the entire British Army than spend a night with the Bell Witch, he supposedly said. If you're in the mood for some ghost hunting, you can visit John Bell's cavern and delve into the cave. Who knows, perhaps the witch still frequents this creepy cavern.